Shall we say amen? Who's got to answer? Does she have an answer to something?
It's out of place.
Oh, okay. Well, I wanted to ask you, does anybody know, when everyone has a name, when a baby's born, they receive a name, and names have meanings. Does anybody know the meaning of their name? You guys know the meaning? Any parents or grandparents know the meaning of their name? Okay. Well, that's okay, because you can find out. You can look up the meaning for your name. My name, Douglas, one of the meanings is out of the darkness into the light. And that's something I'm trying to do all the time. You can say amen to that. We all have our troubles. But I'm grateful for that. And today we're going to talk about Jacob's name meant trickster. He was like trickster, schemer. And his name became God prevailed. Jacob is so we want to pray. Anybody want to put their hand up to Pastor Doug's hand? That's okay. The power hands and we'll all pray together, okay? All right. Dear Lord, thank you for Jesus' name. It means the Lord saves. And help me to be like Jacob and let you change my name to bring you honor and glory. Amen. All right, great. Thank you, Pastor. Coming up, very good. I should ask everybody their name. Very good. Just like Dave is thinking of things he didn't think of in the first service, I just thought of a good one. Names are very important to us, and we had an interesting thing. One was very close to Mother's Day, and we were ministering at a personal care home down in Keysport, and we went because we wanted to help the whole church and be a part of that, but we also went because we were really missing our own moms. We just gone through, both of us had just gone through losing our own moms. And so while we were there, I was preaching on our names, and kind of like today, we're going to talk about Jacob's name in Israel. But we were preaching on names, and so I thought, well, if God knows our name, then I should ask the people their names too. So there were two ladies sitting in the room there, Judy, and so I went to the first lady and I said, "What's your name happen to be?" Because I'm going to be talking about that. And she looked right at me and she said, "My name's Ann." Well, that was Judy's mom's name. And we were all kind of stunned by that because that, it's a common name, but it's still kind of shocking to be thinking about our parents. And then I turned to the lady right beside her and I said, "And what happens to be your name?" She said, "My name's Wilma." And I said, "Wilma, that's my mom's name." She said, "Wilma Jean." And I said, "That's my mom's full name." So God knows. God knows us by name, and He loves us and cares for us. And then what an amazing thing for the Lord to be putting on Ann's heart this song, which has the peculiar title of the God of Jacob, the God of Jacob. And part of us might say, at times we look at people in the Bible and we think, how could God have ever been for them? Is they're miserable. Sometimes you look at Jacob, he tricked his brother out of both the birthright and the blessing. He was a trickster and a schemer. His name even meant that, trickster, schemer. And you think, how could God ever love him or care for him? Well, then just take a good look in the mirror. Right? Amen? Think of you in your worst time, the worst time in your life. Worst thing that you ever put yourself or other people through. Think about that time and then just say, how could God ever love me? Thank God He's the God of Jacob, and thank God He's my God too, to be able to help me. But we are looking at, today we are looking at our Beatitudes. We're moving right along. We're over past the middle point, and we are looking at blessed are the pure in heart. for they will see God. This is Matthew chapter 5, verse 8. Let's all read that again together. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. So I have a question for you. To be pure in heart, does that mean you're perfect? It does not. I'm glad you answered that correctly, because we're going to find out that that's what God took Jacob from where he was to where God intended him to be. And because God brought purity to his heart, he actually was known as the one who saw the face of God. He called the place where he was even that by name. So what we want to look at today is Jacob's life. And there's a couple questions I want us to ask ourselves as we go through his life. And I'm going to be quick. My goodness, we prayed and sang our way right towards the end of the service. But I want to share this with you, and I'll make it brief and hopefully effective to your hearts. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. So the goal is that God make our hearts pure so that we might be able to see him. Now I want to read for you from Genesis chapter 32. And like I mentioned, Jacob and Esau, these two brothers, were at horrible odds because Jacob had tricked his brother Esau out of both his birthright and his blessing. Esau wasn't guiltless because he gave one of them away for a bowl of porridge. Jacob made a bowl of soup, and Esau gave up one of the most important things to a Jewish man, a Hebrew man, in his birthright and blessing. So there is tremendous tension between these two. Jacob has lived his life and has gained many possessions, and he is going to meet Esau, and Esau has 400 men of war with him. It's a very powerful warring lord. So I want to read from Genesis 32, though, and this gives us the setting for this. Genesis chapter 32, it says, during the night Jacob got up and took his two wives, his two servant wives, and his 11 sons, and crossed the Jabbok River with them. After taking them to the other side, he sent over all his possessions. This left Jacob all alone in the camp. All the details are important here. This left Jacob all alone in the camp. And a man, a God-man, came and wrestled with him. We don't know if, is this God? Is this an archangel? Is this a Christophany? Is this an appearance of Christ in the Old Testament? I kind of lean towards the appearance of Christ because he has the appearance of a man, yet he's godlike. And it says, and when the man, God-man, saw that, and this left Jacob all alone in the camp, and the God-man came and wrestled with him until the dawn began to break. And when the God-man saw that he could not win the match, he touched Jacob's hip and wrenched it out of socket. Then the man said, let me go, for the dawn is breaking. But Jacob said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. What is your name? The God-man asked. He replied, my name is Jacob. He said, your name will no longer be Jacob. The man told him, from now on you will be called Israel, because you have fought with God and men and have won. Or another one is that God has prevailed. Please tell me your name, Jacob asked of the God-man. Why do you want to know my name? The man replied. And then he blessed Jacob there. And Jacob named the place Peniel, which means face of God. And he said, I have seen God face to face, yet my life has been spared. The sun was rising as Jacob left Peniel, and he was limping because of the injury to his hip. And even today, the people of Israel do not eat the tendon near the hip socket because of what happened that night when the God-man strained the tendon of Jacob's hip. May God bless his word to our hearts and to our lives. The first thing that's interesting I want to ask you is, what is this place? What is this place where Jacob meets God? And then it took on the name Peniel. It says here that Jacob started on his way to meet Esau, and the angels of God came to meet him. And when Jacob saw them, he exclaimed, this is God's camp. So he named the place Mahanaim, God's camp. So Jacob was going to meet Esau, but he was trying to do it his way. And he does not see that God has surrounded this place, this camp, with God's angels. Do you believe that you have a guardian angel? Some of you will say a hearty yes. Amen. But God has ministering spirits, these angels, that are in our place and watching over us. But Jacob doesn't quite understand it, but he does see these angels, and he knows that this must be a special place, so he calls it God's camp. Made me think about, how in the church, through times past, and especially in the Methodist Church, we have had camp meetings. Have you ever been to a camp meeting? Bonnie, many camp meetings to hear preaching, good singing,